Man, everybody's really active in the chat tonight. It's good to see. Shoot, maybe we could have sold tickets tonight. So, number one Marvel fan, he's happy. He's got that Tom's here because he says, "I know there's a God when I go into Tom Fish's CAF Gallery." Don't we all? We've been all enjoying Tom's CAF Gallery for a number of years. I'm not even quite sure when was his start date. 20 years. 20 years this April. Tom will be celebrating his anniversary on CAF, just a mere week away. So that's pretty special. But yeah, Paul Pappas agrees with number one Marvel fan. He says this will be a religious experience tonight. Now I don't know if Mr. Fish is going to agree with that, but I guess this is something we've been wanting to do for a while, and we finally have the time to do it. So I'm not going to hang out and go through the comments here, but everybody, you're in store for a fun discussion tonight. Let me bring in Mr. Fish. Hey, Tom.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
Doing well. Doing well.
Do you agree with this, that this is going to be a religious experience this evening?
No, not at all. It's hopefully we'll have some fun and everyone will enjoy it. But I don't think it'll be religious. But whatever.
I know. Well, we've known each other for a while. The thing is, I think a lot of people haven't had the opportunity to meet you at a show, or maybe they saw you in passing, had no idea who you were, but they've seen your CAF gallery for quite some time, and they know, that you have an eye for really impressive pieces of artwork, and it is what it is, man. I mean, you've got notoriety, even if you're kind of a little under the radar, with a lot of the collectors on CAF. But I mean, you've been to OAX. I mean, it's funny when I got to see you in line before the show, and I feel like I didn't see you after that, but I know you were on the floor the whole time.
For sure. Great. I love the show, love your show, and I'm looking forward to what next February. So I'm already making plans for that. So that should be a great time.
See, I'm glad you know the dates. You're paying attention.
Got to.
Well, that's good. But yeah, where do we start here? I mean, yeah, I always like to kind of get the backstory. I mean, I know a little bit about your business history and what you've done professionally, but comics and comic art. I mean, since I've known you, I mean, I think that's how we met, and it was really probably around the same time you started your CAF gallery. You were collecting art, but I don't know when you really got into collecting original art. Were you interested in it early in your sports card frenzy?
No, actually, I owned 2 comic shops with a fellow gallery owner, Dan Gallo. We had 2 comic shops together, and he really introduced me to collecting comic art. I think the first piece that he bought was a McFarlane cover, and then I bought a McFarlane cover, and then we started buying them up, and we just had a passion for the hobby, and it just took off from there.
Yeah, well, Dan's got a pretty good art collection as well. He's got
for sure. So with Dan, we collected the McFarlane. We collected the McFarlane covers together. We had comic stores in the '90s, so we were very passionate about comic books, and just getting into the art was really exciting for us because art is one of a kind stuff, and we sold hundreds of issues of, for example, the X-Men 1, hundreds and hundreds of issues of that, and to have a piece of history, a one of a kind work of art from a comic that you sell, it's just a great feeling.
But what got you remember what your first piece was that you bought? I mean,
the first piece that I bought, I think Dan and I went partners on a cover. I don't remember specifically, but the first piece I bought on my own was a Spider-Man 12 cover, McFarlane with Wolverine and Spider-Man, and that hung on my wall in my living room of my house for many years, and I got a crazy offer for it, and I sold it regretfully now. But yeah, I sold it, made some nice money, and just kept turning, buying and selling. And I realized that comic art would not only be a fun thing to collect, but it could be very profitable. And I took my baseball card mind and said, in baseball cards, people collect the most prestigious cards would be the rookie cards. And obviously in comics, it would be the first appearance of a comic. But then I said, wow, if you can own the first comic book of a hero, and then you can get a page from that book, how rare would that be, and how unique of a collectible that would be? I saw potential in, those type of assets appreciating in value. And that's why I gravitated towards first appearance art.
Interesting. Yeah. It never occurred to me, as guy who I was buying comics too, and of course the first appearances, first issues, all that stuff were important. But when I made the jump to buying original art, that just never occurred to me. And honestly, it didn't. It was probably like 10 years into the hobby before I started seeing maybe some pieces that you were collecting, and I realized, wow, maybe there is something to this first appearance collecting. But you were one of the first people that I saw doing it. Although clearly, now that we know a few other collectors that are out there that are kind of have that as a bent, it's something that's it definitely drives the value up on the pieces when you have a first appearance. But people are viewing the art like the comics in that way. The first drawn appearance of a character is actually important to the collectability and the value of the artwork.
Yeah, it's interesting because when I was collecting first appearance art when I first started, people collect the art because they like the book or they like specifically the artist.
Hmm.
And for me, it doesn't matter who the artist was on a first appearance because that, in essence, was like their rookie card if it was a baseball card. So that's what I really enjoyed collecting, and it's obviously paid off for me handsomely. And I'm very happy that I stuck with it, even though there was a lot of naysayers out there like, "What, you paid that for that?" Like they couldn't believe that I was buying first appearance art and the prices that I was paying.
I do remember that. I mean, obviously, we both have known Berkey for a long time, and I know you've probably picked up a few pieces from him along the
Oh, for
way.
sure, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's yeah, I'd be more in Mike's camp probably. Where I was looking at the stories that I loved, and those were really the pages I was going after, and I wasn't thinking about the characters, the significance of them. I was just getting stuff that I'd remembered reading and enjoying, or with that as my number one goal, and I had to like the art. But yeah, I mean, you've
Yeah,
you
Bill. The funny
upside down a few times with some of your posts. When you put the first Mary Jane out there, that was pretty cool and exciting. I mean, everybody enjoys and seeing that stuff.
Right. The funny thing about it, Bill, I had the two comic shops, and even as a kid, I collected comic books, but I really never read them. So it was never about reading the comics and gravitating to a story because I really never read any comics. Maybe two or three comics I read. Well, while I had the stores, obviously I was always drawn to a cover if it was cool looking. When I was young, I would buy comics off the newsstand, but I was into, back when I was younger, Marvel team up. I was into the obscure characters, Spider-Man and this guy. I wasn't an amazing Spider-Man collector, but when Marvel team up come out and you could see Spider-Man with a character you never saw before, I was drawn to those covers. So I didn't read comics. And like I said, when I had the store, you'd always look at the guide and I remember Hulk 314 was the first John Byrne Hulk, and he was the hot artist at that time. So
Hmm.
I would go to the comic shop and buy multiple copies because I was a speculator. Hulk 314, I'll never forget. The first John Byrne Hulk. It was I love the cover, and obviously shortly after it came out, it appreciated in price because it was the first John Byrne Hulk.
That's true. Hey, Mr. Wingo, Scott.
Hey, Scott.
So no, I get it. I get it. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, that well, as a shop owner, you didn't read all the books, but hey, at the end of the day, I mean, it's business, right? I mean,
Sure.
that's kind of the way that you've looked at it. But you've again, yeah, I'm just looking at your CAF gallery now. I'm going to throw the link in the chat. I know it's in the show description as well, but no reason why not to make it easy for everybody watching right now. They can just click the link in the chat to see your CAF and see some of the pieces that you've posted over the years. I mean, it's funny when you sent me I think you sent me 19 pieces,
Yeah.
and not all of them are in your CAF, and you didn't send me any of the heavy hitters.
Yeah, I did that on purpose. I wanted to show some other things besides the normal pieces. I mean, I could have sent you some of the big boys, but most of the people that look for those pieces know my gallery. So I wanted to show them a couple other things, some things that I don't have listed. I do have a lot of art that's not listed on CAF, and I wanted to just throw out there a couple different things. So I thought it would make the show a little bit more interesting.
No, well, it will. It'll there's some pieces in here that I didn't know you owned. But I mean, so again, tell me a bit. So you're not slowing down in any way. I mean, you're still picking up art regularly, right? I mean, you're not bored with the hobby at all, even though you've been doing it for over 20, 25 years.
Oh, I enjoy it. It's I enjoy collecting comic art. It's fun. I don't see myself slowing down. I have seen myself getting a little bit more um, laser focused on the pieces that I'm looking for, and when the right piece comes up, I'll definitely go after it. But you could get lost, in collecting comic art. But I try to stay focused for first appearance art. Um, uh, Covers that are very recognizable, and you'll see. I don't mention one of the other things, but I'll mention it when you show the art. But there are a couple things that I do enjoy collecting that's out of the first appearance realm, and that's out of the memorable covers or memorable pages.
Mhm. Well, that's you have to have something that and down that path where they're always going to be expensive and have a lot of competition for those. But either way, I mean, good covers are always going to attract attention. I saw Paul Pappas was in the chat. He's a guy who picks up a lot of good artwork and knows a good Spidey cover when he sees it, for instance. But and I thought it was interesting. Paul said he mentioned that Dan got him into collecting original art. Maybe
Yep, yep,
Dan's
yep,
an enabler for a few people. He helped start Comic Art Con and everything.
yep. Him and Joe Vettery started that show. I don't know how many years ago. That was quite some time, but that was still is a real good show, local show. But they get people from all over to go to that show.
I think it's in a couple weekends from now
Yeah,
too,
I think
isn't
it's
it?
in April. Dan, I think, matter of fact, it is in a couple of weeks. I was talking to Dan yesterday, and he told me that he's going to be setting up. I think for the first time in a long time, he's going to be setting up there.
Do you go to that show all the time, or?
No, I don't. I just too busy. I try to get up there once every 2 years, 2.5 years when they run it.
All right. Well, I haven't made it up there in about 10 years, unfortunately. I think Dan was still and working with Joe at that time on the show and everything.
Mhm.
But let's see, what's James Henderson say? I vividly remember when Fish got the first Wolverine. It was is that true? Could you have picked up a vacation home rather than buying that Wolverine first appearance page from
For
local and
sure, for sure. It would be interesting to see if which one appreciated more, because I've had that piece for quite some time, and obviously we were looking at potentially buying a home in North Carolina, a vacation home in North Carolina. So it'd be interesting to see what the price range of the home I could have bought back then, as opposed to what I believe the Wolverine page is worth today.
True. Might as well show it since we're talking about it. There it is. So it's been up on CAF for over 10 years. I think he posted up there around 2014 or so. Pretty special.
Yeah, that's one of my faves.
Yeah. No, I think there isn't one person in the chat or on CAF who wouldn't be happy to have this page in their collection. See, like Jason D'Ambrosio is even crying in the chat right now. As a big X-Men collector, he knows the significance of that one. Marcus says, "Show us the home you could have had." At the end of the day, it's like you see something like this, and we've seen. I mean, what the first Black Cat cover goes for $1 million. Black Cat, right? So this isn't a cover, but it's no Black Cat first appearance either. So you just don't know on this kind of stuff either, right? And it's that first appearance kind of goose that something like this, even it's Wolverine, so it's most significant Marvel characters, since Spider-Man. It has a lot of intrinsic value just by itself, but this is one that how do you even set a price on it? You just can't. So I don't. Your vacation home could be $2 million now, and I'd say that this piece I think it still did better, based
Yeah,
on what you spent, probably.
I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've come, again, it's one. Let's see how many views are on this thing. Well, you haven't got the 10,000 views on it yet, but it's probably, since it's been posted, it's probably one of the most viewed pieces on CAF, and deservedly so. I'm sure it brings in a lot of traffic to CAF just having it up there. And I always say this, I have to tell you, Tom, is that pieces like this, I'm so thankful that they get posted at CAF, because a lot of people would just not even show, pieces that are this significant, but and a lot of, like you mentioned, there's still a lot of stuff from your collection you don't show, but just the fact that we get to see this stuff, I mean, it's important. And I think 50 years from now, pieces like this could end up being in galleries and museums throughout the world. I mean, but right now we're in this position where guys like you and me can own pages that have some monetary significance and or historical significance based on the creators and whatnot. And it's pretty cool. I mean, I think it's what separates uh, our collecting original art from comics or sports cards or statues or anything like that. I mean, this is something that transcends everything else. It's that it is a work of art. I don't know where we're going to be 50 or 100 years from now, but I'd be really surprised if a lot of the pieces that we see in some collectors' collections aren't put into more museum settings or places where they're able to be revered a little bit differently than just on comic art fans.
For sure.
All right, let me see here. And since I'm on here, I might as well show. So I've made this piece, the show graphic, and it's your Jim Lee cover. And this hasn't been in your CAF gallery as long, but you just mentioned, this when you had the store, you were selling the books,
Yeah.
and I mean, I remember when this thing popped up, there was, everybody was excited. We don't get to have too many significant moments in the hobby where a piece of art that is so meaningful to a generation of book readers and art collectors comes up. I mean, I think to me, I could think of like maybe 4 or 5 in the last 10 years, but this was one of them, and you got it. So it had to have been an amazing moment for you to be able to actually hold the cover for the first time. I can't even imagine. Somebody should have been documenting that. I mean, literally, maybe it might have been a 5 or 10 minute short, but it would have been cool to kind of like see, the changing of the hands on a piece like this, and getting to see it first time.
Yeah, that didn't sit in my hands too long because I took it right over to the vault. But
Right.
yeah, it was great. The only downside on that piece is I had made an offer on it a few years prior, significantly less than I paid, and I could have gotten a lot cheaper. But I'm glad I have it. And Bill, I don't know if I have the maybe some of your people watching this thing, but I own the entire contents of the book too, including all the pages, the gatefold cover, and the pinups. So, and thank goodness I had an opportunity and I got a very strong offer on the gatefold several years ago. And someone asked me for a price, and I gave them a price, which now would have been a steal. And I'm so thankful that he did not buy it, because then I wouldn't have the whole thing complete. So I have, that's the piece there. Actually, I don't know how many years ago, but I quoted the guy 200 grand, and I was going to sell it, and I am very, very happy I didn't. So I still have the whole thing intact.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you've had this one up, since 2008, so it's been on CAF for a very long time. Remarkable.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, Tom, that's why, again, that if we were to look at galleries that have probably gotten the most unique visitors coming to it, from not just people who are on CAF, but these are keywords that people search for on Google all the time. I think it brings in a lot of people who are just who love the book, love the stories, love Jim Lee, love this particular book in particular, and it's brought a lot of fans to the site. So again, I appreciate it
Yeah.
immensely.
So the one good thing I like about this piece, so when I have it, not only is it X-Men #1, Jim Lee, Scott Williams, I have the whole book, but I don't think the record will ever be broken, right? Isn't this book the highest selling comic book of all time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
So to have the best selling comic of all time, I had the store then. I remember selling A, B, C, D, and then the gatefold E, and to have the whole book, yeah, that's definitely another one of my faves.
And a lot of people in the chat's faves as well. So I assume this one's in the vault, too. We can't get a better picture of this for CAF,
No,
right?
no, that's away that's put away also.
No, I understand. But if you ever take it out, make sure you get a good scan of it.
For
I'd
sure.
love to see it. I trust me, I know the image very, very well. I
Yeah.
just want a bigger scan on CAF to enjoy it even more. But yeah, but that's again, it's remarkable to that you were able to pick it up in the first place, and then even more remarkable that the buyer didn't go after it when you put it out there. Because
Yeah.
you're right, at that price now, I mean, yeah, again, it's a piece you can't even put a value on. Carlos Mo says, "What's the address to the vault?" I don't think we're giving that out tonight, Carlos. And Jason does say Bill hates Jim Lee X-Men. I don't hate Jim Lee X-Men, Jason. The thing is, that's the era of his books that where I stopped buying comics. It was right after college, before I got back into buying books. So I missed the whole Jim Lee Uncanny run and the start to this too. So it's not that I hate it. I've gone back and read it. I just didn't put Jim. I don't rank Jim as my number one X-Men artist, even though I'm a big X-Men fan. It's just, yeah, he was in my top five. Marcus.
Oh, Bill, who is your number one?
For me it was Byrne.
Yeah.
That's the era when I was reading it. I like him, the most. I put Jim at 5, but probably not. Does it release? Oh no, wait, no, I had him at. I can't even remember what number I had him at, but Byrne was number one, and I always loved Paul Smith too, because and Cockrum, because that's when I was reading it, right? I literally I wasn't reading or buying X-Men comics when Jim was on anything. So I totally missed it when I started collecting or buying books again in 98, or maybe it was 97. I had to go back and buy all those back issues. I missed Age of Apocalypse. I didn't know what the hell happened from 1990 until 97. So I missed the fervor, man. I didn't know what happened. I mean, how terrible is that? And that's when you had your shop, I assume, right? We didn't
Yeah.
really talk date ranges.
I don't remember the exact time when I had the shop, but it was 86. I graduated high school. So it had to be 5 years after that. So early 90s, early
Mhm.
90s.
I didn't know we were the same age. I
Yeah.
graduated in 86 as well.
Oh, did
All
you?
right. Well, yeah, well, there you go. See, that's what happened. I got out of college. I had no money. You, on the other hand, got your own comic shop going.
Yeah.
So, the thing is, so you're still doing blowout cards, right? I mean, that's your main gig, I assume.
Blowout cards is, yeah, that's what I do. I sell sports and trade any type of trading card, and that's it. We have an online store, online, and then we have our brick and mortar store in Virginia. And I could say Pokemon has been very good to me.
Honestly, I was going to ask you that, because I remember you told me that story that, when you were getting started, it was actually Pokemon that just blew the doors off your business. But again, it goes back to you saw something that was a trend before it was
Yeah,
really a
yeah,
trend, right?
yeah,
With Pokemon cards.
yeah. The Pokemon it's been crazy, since it started, but the last year and a half, it's insane right now. I mean, you could go and check YouTube. You see people fighting in Costco to get the deals in Costco. It's really nuts.
Right,
Yeah.
but so people probably don't know. I mean, through blowout cards, you're a big distributor. You sell direct. I mean, I mean, I remember we had conversations about this back in the day. So you really kind of touch on a lot of areas of just sports and trading cards. But I just think it's an area that I'm starting to learn a little bit more about. I mean, do you guys do things in with like the Marvel masterpieces and
Oh yeah,
top?
we'll sell any type of trading card, whether it's sports, all the four major sports, even smaller
Mhm,
sports, entertainment, Marvel Masterworks. Now Topps just got the license and they
mhm.
released Topps Chrome a little while ago, and that's selling unbelievably well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting the next couple years with Topps having the license now. They just came out with a X-Men '97 set based on the X-Men from 1997. That did well. We sold out of that. But yeah, it's going to be Marvel cards are going to be very, very interesting to see what Topps and Fanatics does over the next couple of years with them.
True. Do you have any hope for the DC cards?
Upper Deck's got the license now for that. DC cards have never really resonated. I mean, there'll be some good stuff. I mean, Upper Deck has some good brands. They might do some like precious metal gem stuff that are very popular insert set from them. But Marvel's where it's at. Marvel's where it's at.
Always has been, always will be. I
Yeah.
think doesn't matter if it's comics or trading cards or original comic art. Yeah, we see that all the time. But yeah, well that's cool. What about Magic? I mean, do you guys go into that into the
We do a little bit of Magic. I've got some of the older unopened boxes that I just have sitting around. One day I'll come out with selling, with not too much in Magic, primarily Pokemon and the sports. And one thing that I didn't know anything about, it's real popular, is One Piece. One Piece trading cards are very popular in the shop. Real popular.
Oh yeah, no, One Piece is like my kid's favorite anime. So
Yeah, I never heard of it
I
until
haven't watched it
a
either.
year ago, but it sells crazy.
Well, yeah, it's yeah. Well, you got the good thing is that this stuff is still popular with the younger generations, right? I mean, because we grew up on baseball cards and
Yep.
wacky packs and you name it, and
Garbage pail.
Garbage Pail Kids, right? And who would have thought that people would still be into this stuff, and it would be at the level that it is today? But it's the creativity from the people printing the cards at the end. I think that right is that what they insert in the packs and all those sorts of things that make those make the boxes more valuable. I saw you do box breaks, or at least you had a link to do box breaks on your sites. I know that's really
Yeah,
popular.
the box breaking, it's really crazy. Well, the price of trading cards has gone up so much, with the licensing and what the manufacturers have to pay to get autograph cards, etc. So in order for people to participate in the hobby, they get involved in group breaks, which is kind of nutty on Whatnot and on Fanatics Live.
Yeah, no, that's true. I read about it every day. um, but hey, let's not talk about trading cards anymore. We got to dive into some of these pieces that you brought and talk about the motivation behind picking them up.
Cool.
Is that cool?
Yes,
Uh,
for sure.
there you go. Kazra was curious. Are you setting up at Fanatics Fest in June?
I will not be setting up. I'll be attending, but setting up at a New York show is something I do not want to do.
No, it's better to be a guest than
Yes, for
yeah.
sure, for sure.
All right, well, let's see here. I know I've got a lot of slides here. So, put them. I just kind of put them in a random order a bit, except for those couple pieces we talked about pre-show. So,
Okay.
tell me a bit about this one. I mean, it's got a lot of signatures on it, but a lot of characters that we all love, and it's a pretty amazing piece of art.
Yeah. So this piece, Anthony Snyder had this for years, and every show I would ask him how much it was, and every show the price went up, and I couldn't get myself to buying it. I think it's an extraordinary piece with all those characters from the '60s, and then I happened to have an opportunity to get it from another dealer. I got it actually from Mike Berkey, who picked it up from Anthony in a trade, and I was able to do a trade with Berkey. I'm very happy to finally have it in my collection.
Yeah, it is funny how those things happen, right? I mean, we had seen it on Anthony's back wall for a while as well, and then all it took was Mike to get it. I don't know how that happened, but then you finally get to secure it.
Yeah. Real happy with this. Not a big '60s Marvel guy, but I know they did. I think they did a blacklight poster from this. But I picked it up because I just think for the price that it was at when I looked at the Heritage auction and I saw what I think it's called Sons of Origins. They did the original art from that sold at Heritage, and I looked at it, and to me it was not aesthetically pleasing at all. And I just said, this piece compared to that piece, to me, it was just such a better representation of the characters, and for it to be published as a poster, I just had to have it. I think it presents very well. I love the piece.
No, as do I. Romita Sr., of course. So, I mean, there's a lot of great Romita Sr. artwork out there, but I mean, to get all the characters like this on one board, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. No, and for all the times Anthony had it, I never saw it in
Yeah,
person.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
No,
special.
but that's kind of about it. Would you say this might have been one of the pieces that you've pursued the longest before you were able to put it in your collection?
I don't want to say I pursued it. When you go to the show and you look around, you start it captivated me, and I just asked how much, and I couldn't get myself to buy it. And then the next show I see it again, how much is it? And it was higher. I said, whoa, it's higher. Just 6 months ago was this next show, same thing, higher. And I'm like, you know what? I couldn't pay it. And then
Right.
finally, like I said, Berkey got a hold of it in a trade or something like that, and I was able to work something out with him, and I'm real glad to have it.
Well, congratulations on that one. That's a good one. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of Romita Sr. work out there. Interiors, covers. I mean, he touched so much work at Marvel, but it's cool to have something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
literally is a piece that everybody knows and recognizes. And no, yeah, that's incredible. Let's see. Oh, Zatari's hanging out. Hey, Mike. So, so he says he's happy to see you doing one of these as well.
Cool.
All right, what do we got here for the next one? A Tales of Suspense page.
Well, it's not just any Tales of
I
Suspense
know. Okay.
page, Mr. Cox. That is a page from Tales of Suspense 52, and it's the first appearance of the Black Widow. Bought this on eBay. It was sitting on eBay for a while, and it was priced relatively high. I think I made a best offer, and I was able to do the deal. But really happy with this piece.
It's now. When did you pick this up, though? I mean, you
Ooh,
picked
it was a long time ago.
this would have been, yeah. I would have to imagine this didn't happen recently.
No, way before the movies. And I see that you cut out that panel that you cut out with Iron Man is awesome, but that middle panel that's money for me with the first appearance.
Yeah, I was going to highlight that one, and then I was like, I should have highlighted that one.
No, it's all good. I love that panel as well. Love that panel as well.
Well, here I can zoom in on it. I've got a second window open here because I was looking at that earlier. It is too darn good. Here, let me hide this slide, and we can look at it a little bit better. There we go. So, yeah.
So one of the things that I really like about first appearance pages too, and if you look at the top right corner, I love when they mention the character's name when it's on the page where you could see. I think in the top corner it says Black Widow. So when you see the name of the character on the page, I love whenever the character's name is on the page with the first appearance. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Just hard to imagine that this thing was on eBay with a buy it now price and it sat there for a little while, but still, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Now, is this in your CAF?
No, it's not. Like I said, this is not in my CAF. The poster's not in my CAF. So I think I sent you 19 pages, and I think only 2 are in my CAF. I'm not 100% certain, but I think only 2. So I wanted to show some pieces that people may have never seen before, don't know that I own it.
Well, I will. I'll switch over to this view anytime we want, so we can zoom in on stuff. When I'm showing slides, I can't do that.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so let's take a look at the next piece here.
Well, that is not a first appearance page, but that is a 2-page spread that I picked up a while back when I bought a collector out of his Thanos artwork, and I sold off a bunch, but I wound up holding on to that one. That's just a phenomenal spread there.
No, it's beautiful. We get to see a lot of Thanos related artwork, around the site, and we feature various things. And there's a couple of collectors who are very focused in the Infinity Gauntlet stuff, but yeah, this is pretty spectacular to see a DPS like this. Title page, DPS. Yeah, you can't. There's not a lot more impressive than this piece right here. This is great. And when you buy somebody out, I mean, do you just kind of, do you end up? Obviously, you've traded a lot, and we've mentioned that already. Do you tend to just kind of gravitate to the pieces you want to keep? Like
yeah. This particular collection was a massive one for me. I had to buy, in order for me to get the pieces that I wanted to get from this collector, I had to buy everything, which I'm glad I did. And it worked out great because he was a Thanos collector, and I bought the collection and sold off some pieces that I really wish I had back. Who knew how popular Thanos was going to be in the movie around him and the whole Infinity Gauntlet. But yeah, typically when there's big pieces and from a collector, if you're a collector, you're not going to want to sell your best stuff, right? So I wanted this guy's best stuff, and he says, well, if you want it, you have to take everything. And that's what I did. I took it all and sold off some stuff, and this is one of the few items that I wound up holding on to. Besides the piece, and this isn't even really one that I had to have, but after I looked at everything, I said, you know what, I'm going to hold on to this piece because it's special.
No, agreed. Yeah, it's I'm zooming into it on the from the stuff you sent me. It is pretty incredible. I mean, so looking at that, but so there were other pieces that were even more impressive that you had to hold on.
Well, yeah, I wanted the Infinity Gauntlet 1 cover. Was I had to have it, and this was in, and I got it, but this was part of that collection. So I got the Infinity Gauntlet 1 cover in this collection. I got the Iron Man 55 cover in the collection that I
Oh
bought.
wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it was good. It was good to be able to get a lot of significant pieces in one shot. It did cost a pretty penny, but I was able to sell off some of the lesser stuff, get some cash back, and hold on to the pieces that I wanted.
That makes sense. So those covers would be a primary target, I think, for anybody, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Bill at this collector had 4 of the 6 Infinity Gauntlet covers, 4 of
Wow.
them, and I tried to get the other 2, and after trying and trying, I realized it wasn't going to happen. So I actually sold off 2 of them, and the one that's at Heritage right now is mine, and that's
Mhm.
being auctioned right now. I think it's number 5. Um, and I kept the number 1. Obviously, that's probably going to go to my grave with me.
Well, like, yeah, it's not gonna be buried with you though, right? I hope.
No, I won't do that. But the number 1 is to me is such a significant cover. That number 1 is, yeah. I get a lot of requests for that one, a lot. But that one's it's not going anywhere.
No, I don't blame you. I mean, that just given the storyline, then the movies and everything. I mean, there's not. It's one of the more significant pieces out there. So it's I can see why people would be so interested in you know
Yeah,
and
besides the significance of being Infinity Gauntlet 1, I mean, if the cover is just spectacular,
oh yeah.
how it's done, and it's been homage so many times. It's awesome to look at. It's phenomenal.
I'm with you. I'm actually, yeah. Again, it's funny. I've seen that piece numerous times. Gone and looked at the detail, and it's only got just over 4,000 views. That's criminal, Tom.
So,
Everybody should be going over there and leaving a comment on that. And anything else in your CAF gallery tonight. This should be the night where you get more comments than you've ever gotten before, Tom.
yeah, I was going to ask you something about that, Bill.
Okay.
I would love for you to add a feature on Comic Art Fans where you could. I know how you do every week. It goes the last 7 days where you say most commented, most liked. I would love for you to have it all time views, all time likes, all time comments. I think that would be a pretty cool feature that I think people would really like.
There are the app does it better, believe it or not. You can
Oh, really?
filter, but yeah, yeah. You probably don't have the app yet, do you?
I don't have. I'm not a tech guy. I'm very bad with tech. I'm very surprised I was able to hook up for this show, but yeah, I'm not a tech guy.
Yeah, one of the things I think it's there. There's a way to do it through CAF. It's not as easy, but on the app, it's funny. If you actually, we have a new art page, but there's a filter right at the top where you can say order by most views, most comments, most likes, and that actually looks at the entire site. So even though it's
Okay.
the new page, it doubles as a way to refilter it based on those things, and even down to keywords. So you could type John Byrne order by most likes, and you'll be able to see the most like John Byrne artwork from that one page. It's kind of like this cool multi-purpose thing that we haven't. The site search doesn't work like that, but the apps search does, and
All right. I might have to.
learning a lot from the
Might have
app.
to get the app.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'll hook you up when we're all done
Cool.
here.
Cool.
All right, let's see here. What are we going to look at next? All right,
There he
Prowler.
is.
Seriously, this is, I mean, this is a very cool piece. And but again, it's like, did you love the character? I mean, was it something that
No,
no?
I'll tell you about that piece. So obviously, first appearance, huge fan.
Hmm.
A couple guys on here know or may not know that I had bought the first appearance of Miles Morales cover. I sold it, then I bought it back and sold it again, which reluctant all those times, regretful. But as I people started to tell me what they thought it was worth, and I shouldn't have sold it. So I started thinking about this Miles Morales character. And I know obviously over the next few years, Marvel's going to build around Miles Morales. And the Prowler, I believe, is a relative of Miles Morales. So somewhere along the line, I believe that the Prowler will have significance, more significance than he's had in the past, with Miles Morales and how they developed the Miles Morales Spider-Man character. So
I've gotten the same feeling, but you know, it's the whole Miles Morales thing. I know there was so many, a lot of people were very excited about it, and Miles isn't my Spider-Man, but the thing is, Miles is like the Spider-Man to a completely different generation, and
yep,
it really, I think, resonates with the younger generation. It's cool that you kind of you saw that, and and you picked it up and everything. But yeah, it was funny. Initially, I didn't get it, and then I finally, then it sunk in. There's those that new readership that's coming in. That's their Spider-Man.
yep,
Peter Parker. Who the hell is he?
yep. And then of course, like I said before, I love first appearance pages where you see the character's name. There's nothing more prominent than Prowler there, and it's a full page splash of a character that I think will develop over the years and hopefully over the next 10 years, because like I said, I'm 57 now. I don't know how much more I'm going to be after 10 more years, if I'm going to be still collecting, but I hope this character develops over the next 5 to 10 years for sure. And I think he will.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Zatari says Prowler is Miles' Uncle Aaron. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Yep.
All right, let's see. Where are we going to go? Oh, here we go. Some Gil Kane.
Yep. First appearance, Morbius page there. Wish the movie was better, but wasn't horrible, but it was okay. And first appearance, major to me, a major Spider-Man villain, or semi-major, second tier probably. And yeah, I think it's Morbius. Yeah, I
How's
like.
it that
I
you've
like
had for a while? You're not going to tell me this was an eBay purchase, was it?
No. Actually, I bought this from Berkey. I bought
Oh,
this
really?
from Berkey. Yeah, a couple years ago, I think. I'm not sure when, but I think it's cool. I kind of like the bottom panel where he jumps off the boat for some reason. I don't know why.
Sweet. Was this one of the ones he would have said was in his personal collection? And
Oh
yeah.
yes, anything I want to buy from him is in his personal collection.
Yeah, that's how it usually goes.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
that's a lot of the stuff I don't get to see, even though I've been over there a lot. That's all the stuff in the vault, right?
yep.
I've not had the good fortune to go through any of that, but yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I like Gil Kane. You get a Gil Kane nose without even the character having to be up their nostril. I mean, this is it's a rare thing, right? But
Yeah.
this is awesome. Now, and since we mentioned Berkey, I actually looked over, and because we mentioned it earlier, the first Mary Jane, but so we might as well, like, let me throw this on the stage to remind people about this one. Now, this one has over 20,000 views, and deservedly so, right? I mean, how freaking cool is this? I mean, this is, historically, I think it's a page that there's not anybody in the chat or that's a fan of comics that doesn't remember this page. And again, and that image, like you're talking about, images that have been homaged over and over again, like the Infinity Gauntlet cover, that last panel. I mean, how often have we seen that image redone in different ways for different purposes?
Yeah, when I bought this page, I paid a lot of money for it. A couple people knew I bought it. Says, "I can't believe you paid that much. Spider-Man's not even on the page." I'm like, "This isn't a Spider-Man page. Face it, Tiger, you hit the jackpot." Is just Marvel. I mean, face it, Tiger. I mean, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very happy with this one.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love it that you mean that's Mary Jane. It's such a good, yeah, the lines are perfect in this thing. But yeah, it goes back to that. I mean, it's people were giving you grief, right?
Yeah,
You can buy a Ditko page, man. What are you thinking?
yeah,
Probably for what a couple Ditko pages at that time,
for sure.
and yeah, but but and the Ditko market is still strong,
Oh,
but
for sure.
the idea of something like this, I mean, again, it's back to first time on the page there. Sorry, I'm dreaming as if I might, could actually. I've never seen this page either. Again, it's back to not having seen stuff that he used to own, but I assume this is in the vault, as it should be.
Yeah, this one I bought a long time ago. What's the date on that one? When did I put that on the calf?
'08,
Yeah,
July
so I've
08.
had that for a long time. I've had that for a long time.
Man, yeah,
You know
91.
what? You know what it would be interesting for me to do, Mike. I remember Bill. I know what I paid for this piece, so it'd be interesting for me to go back in time and go through some old heritage catalogs. And in '08, I paid 50,000 for this page. So I would love to go to a heritage catalog in '08 and see what else I could have bought for 50 grand. Because in '08, 50 grand was a lot of money for a piece of comic art.
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, you could have
And
gotten a
to
pretty good
that,
Ditko page for that, back then. I mean, John Byrne X-Men pages were still $2,500 in '08.
yeah,
$100,000 now.
to that point, Bill, I remember when I purchased from Heritage X-Men #1 page, okay, Kirby, the first panel appearance of Magneto. And at the time I bought that page, and I don't remember exactly what I paid for it, but it was the highest price ever paid for a panel page at auction. And I think it was 75 grand. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking it was 75 grand for a panel page. X-Men #1 first Magneto. Yeah.
Well, I've got access to the market data. I'll check it
Yeah.
at some point. I get it. Well, that's cool. That well, again, that's what makes you're collecting history in so many of these pieces, and so I had to, I had to slide these in here. I know the pieces you picked are a little different, but come on, these are great. Let's see here. Where can we go from here? I want to show. I think we're on slide 6 now. Now, this one's not in your calf, right? I don't believe.
No, not in my calf. Picked that up within the last couple years. Just a really cool splash. I think it's Spidey 120, right? Spidey 120, Hulk versus Spider-Man, two of the most prominent Marvel characters, and I just picked it up because I thought it was a cool splash. And sometimes you get the bug, right? You want to buy something, and I'm glad that this was available at the time. I had that bug, and I picked it up.
We give Romita inks on this one. That makes it really nice. It's Gil Kane, but I mean, come on, this kicks all kind of butt. It's gorgeous. And title pages. I mean, do you kind of look at everybody loves a good end page and a good title page? I mean, does that kind of influence things for you? Because splash pages are cool too. But I always love seeing the title of the story and getting to see the creator information. I mean, does that influence you in
Nah,
any way?
that doesn't really influence me at all. If it's a good title page with action, it doesn't matter. If it's a splash page with action, it's fine. The title pages don't do anything for me too much, but this one, Hulk versus Spider-Man, the fight of the Fury. I mean, yeah, good. I love it.
No, it's classic. Makes me, and I haven't read this book in a long time. Makes me want to see what the published page looked like. But no, this is unbelievable.
Could you imagine what the cover to 120 would go for?
No.
Yeah, neither could I. I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that would, again, it's back to those events. Stuff. A cover like that one would be one that so many people would covet. I mean,
Yeah.
you would have international interest. I mean, there would be so many collectors spectating at the very least. And, all you need is a half a dozen to a dozen collectors that can afford to try to get it, to push that thing into levels that we might, I don't know, we'd all be surprised to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah, this one's really awesome. Let me see. Oh, this is a cool one too. Let me switch over to that. There we go. So again, why this one though?
Just first appearance, Madam Web.
Yeah.
Right before, I think I picked this up right before the movie, which was a disaster, but just another first appearance. It was what I thought relatively inexpensive and a pretty cool page. And yeah, first appearance, another one, Madam Web.
So when it was marketed to you, was it marketed, from the first appearance? I mean,
Yeah, of
typically.
course. I mean, people. A lot of the dealer. I got this from a dealer, and a lot of the dealers know I collect first appearance. You'd be surprised how many dealers contact me with first appearances of characters that I don't think anybody knows. Oh, it's the first appearance of such and such. Who is that? And because they want to sell me first appearances. But Madam Web, the cover. Do I own the cover? I think I might own the cover to 210 also. I think I do. But I like this page. I think it's a cool, fun page.
Well, I think that's I mean, amazing that you're not sure, but you think you have to have the.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I do.
Well, you've got a lot of heart,
Well, yeah. Some of the stuff I put away and I forget I own it. So every so often I'll go through the. If it's not in the vault, I'll go through the portfolios and I say, "Oh wow, this is really awesome." It's funny. Yeah, yeah. This is this Madam Web page. I think I picked it up in the trade, but I'm really happy with this one.
Well, I don't blame you. You only have about 100 pieces in your calf, but
Yeah,
I'm sure that's not the extent of it. Yeah, every time I'd see you at a show, you always had a stack of art with you. I mean,
yeah.
not. I don't mean like a tub or anything, but yeah. Let's see. Yeah, that's true. Mother, which was researching spiders in the Amazon. Okay. Let's see here. What is the next piece? Now, this is cool. I mean, come on, Spider-Man and his amazing friends.
Yeah, so that one touches me a couple ways. Obviously, love the cartoon as a kid. Love the
Mhm.
cartoon as a kid. Romita art with Goblin on the cover, and of course, a first appearance, Firestar.
Yeah, that's cool. So how do here I got a question for you as a first appearance collector.
Mhm.
A lot of times the that first appearance is going to occur on a cover. Yeah, not all the time, but sometimes, like in this one. And then there's the first appearance in the story itself. I mean, which which would be more desirable for you? The cover appearance or the first time they're actually within the story?
I think they're equally desirable. Obviously, the cover, everyone remembers seeing the cover image, right? Everyone's going to remember the cover. Is anyone going to, and this is a very recognizable cover, not just because it's Firestar, but a good splash with the character on it is good. It all depends. It all depends on how, when, where, and why that first appearance of the character inside the story appears, right?
So desirability for you really isn't dependent on if it had to have been on the cover, where we see that character first, or if it's an interior. It's more the art and what you feel the impact is of the page.
Yeah, yes. So you might have, it doesn't necessarily have to be, depending if it's a good first appearance page where the character first appears on that specific page, great. But
Hmm.
it might be a lousy shot of the character. But if the next page, the character is in a battle scene or it has their name on the page, where it says I'm Firestar, and like maybe she's doing the thing that she did on the TV show when he stretches her arms out and turns into Firestar. It all depends on how it looks, and it's just something that for me, I just have to feel it.
Makes sense. And then it's also, so have you passed up on first appearance pages when you knew there was something else, like, as an interior page, or maybe the
Uh,
cover that you knew you wanted more, and the opportunity was there, but you were like, you know what, I'm going to pass it up because I'm going to wait for that other piece around.
Not really. Sometimes it has to do with price. I mean, if it could be price, it could be different things. I mean, now when I get offered first appearance pages, I might go on to read comics online, whatever, and look for what other pages are in there to say, you know what, I'm not going to spend X amount of dollars on this. I'm going to wait to see if this page comes out, or I still just might buy it and say, hey, if this one turns up, then I'll sell this one. It all depends.
Got it. Well, I mean, that makes sense. At the end of the day, I think that, I mean, we all value and appreciate art for different reasons, right? And so you're always going to kind of have your own approach to it, and cost is one of them, right? If they're overpriced, then it's not the best deal. There's others out there.
Right. Yeah, this one I definitely paid more than I wanted to, but because it hit on so many points for me, I just had to buy it.
All right, now it's a beauty. Let's see here. Oh, next one. Now this is kind of what we were talking about earlier. I know you're a Spider-Man collector, and you love kind of just him in action. And this is just a really great example, and the architecture in it's phenomenal. I mean, it's just a beautiful piece of art, right?
Yes. So this one is weird because Heritage Auction was selling the whole content of this of how to how to read comics the Marvel way, and there was a lot of Spidey shots with buildings. So I bought the whole book. I pulled out a couple of the splashes that I liked, and I sold the rest of the book off. But I really love Spidey action with buildings in the background, flying, what swinging. And to me, this one, I just really like the architecture on this one, and I like everything about this page. I think it's really a cool looking splash.
So Spider-Man, your favorite Marvel character? I guess it's
Ah, not
you mentioned
really.
McFarlane earlier, right? I mean,
Well,
so there's
I like McFarlane Spidey because of the art and because
Mhm.
that's when I had my store. I don't want to necessarily say Spider-Man is my favorite character. Spider-Man is obviously the most recognized. You know the most about him. He's got the best rogues gallery. Um, I wouldn't say he's my favorite character. I like Spider-Man a lot. Like who doesn't, right?
right.
But yeah, I couldn't necessarily say who is my favorite character, but Spider-Man would definitely be in the top three.
All right, that's fair. I had no idea, but like you said, I mean, Spider-Man. This is the images you want of him. If he's not fighting one of his classic villains, it's
Correct.
yeah, this is exactly all you want. So is it Koblish? I think it said there.
Yes,
Yeah, it's Koblish.
Scott Koblish. Yeah.
Yeah, he's had a few. He's been doing. I think he's been auctioning some stuff off through Heritage of
Yeah.
late. There's been some cool stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Nick Ferrucci says we have one like away from 55. And yeah, come on, everybody. Hit that thumbs up. We have over 86 people watching live right now. Everybody's here to see Tom's collection and things that he is not displaying on CAF. So hit the thumbs up for us. Maybe that'll drive a few other viewers in here while we're doing this reveal of a lot of artwork. And Marcus thinks that Cyclops could be in your top three. We know that's not true. Sorry. Cyclops is one of my favorites, Tom. I hate to say it.
Okay.
And I know I just say okay. I remember, when we were at New York Comic Con like 15 years ago, and Berkey had a booth, and I remember I picked up a whole bunch of Mario artwork for my kid, and I remember you looking at it, and you said that's good, but I'm not a fan. You
Uh,
you
but
probably don't remember
I
that.
tell you what, the Mario stuff, with as popular as video games are now, and they're opening up theme parks, you might have some hidden treasures there. You have the first appearance?
I don't. I don't. I bought like I don't even know who the artist was. It was trading card artwork, believe it or not. That was I can't remember what it was used for, but I mean I bought a stack of it because this guy was just he couldn't sell it. Nobody wanted it.
Right.
So yeah, I got a portfolio full of it that I bought for my kid. I don't think he's even looked at it since the day I brought it home. I haven't looked at it.
Right.
All right, here we go. There's no spandex in this piece, but Jonah Hex.
Yeah, this one's an interesting piece because first appearance Jonah Hex, and this one was sitting on, I think it was by mycomicshop.com's website for the longest time. And I was I don't know why I bought it. I'm glad I did, but I was talking to Gallo one day and he said, "You collect first appearance, so why don't you just buy it?" And I said, "You know what?" And I bought it. I'm very glad to have it, even though that's another movie that didn't do very well at all. But cool splash, first appearance, and it's Jonah Hex bringing in two of the Raiders, and obviously it's got his name on the front page and everything like that. I think this piece cost me like 8 or 9 grand. Very well worth it at the time or now.
Right, exactly. But again, it like you just said, it ticks all the things that you're looking for. It's got the character's name
Yep.
and lights basically on this one being the title page.
Yep.
And what more can you ask for? And when I saw this one, it kind of stands out as being unique from the set that you sent me and stuff that we think that is pieces that you would collect. But it's a great work of art, and the perspective on it, canting the view on this thing, it's great. I mean, it's very cool. And I'm not a Jonah Hex fan myself, but the artwork is fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Cold-blooded killer. Yeah, that's for sure. Kesha says he bets that Jimmy Palmiotti would probably love to trade for this one. Yeah, he probably would. Jimmy's a big Jonah Hex fan.
Yeah.
But I bet you get that. Does that happen a lot? You get people that approach you, for stuff like,
Yeah,
if you want to
yeah.
sell it,
I
you
mean,
trade it. Then how often do you entertain, an inquiry for something that you have in your collection?
and I get hit up some on a regular basis, and it's like, hey, would you entertain selling this? And I always write, I'm always open for offers, and I am. And like I said, I've sold stuff throughout the years that I wish I didn't. So, but we get hit up pretty good. I'm more of a buyer than a seller, but
Mhm.
if you get offered the right amount of money, you sometimes you take it, and then a year or two later you regret it. But that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Right. Well, there's always more art out there to buy. I mean, it's getting a little harder and harder these days. I mean, 10, 15 years ago, you could sell something and know that it would be easy to replace it. But I feel like, with the cost of art these days, you can't really look at the hobby in that way, right? I mean, if you let
Right.
something, a comparable piece might not be that easy to add back to your collection. You might have to give up several pieces and trade or a lot more money than you were expecting.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
All right, where are we at here? This is explain this one because when I'm not, I'm lost when I see this piece because
All
I'm.
right. So this is an interesting one because this is a couple of reasons why I put this up. This is my most recent acquisition.
Okay.
I got this from Panel Page Art. I got this from Glenn,
Okay.
and it's the first appearance of the Curse, Spawn villain, and it's obviously So Promises the Curse. It has the guy's name on it, and I didn't pay a lot of money for it. I thought it was a bargain, and when it came through my email, when I saw it was for sale, I didn't even want to check out on this piece. I was so surprised at the price that I called him on the phone and said I'll take it, and I got it. So I'm happy with the piece. The Curse.
And he didn't offer it to you first. He put it up on his site.
Yeah, he put it up on a site. That happens a lot sometimes when I see the dealers put first appearance art up. I'm like, why didn't you call me? That's what I collect. But whatever. No, he didn't call me. I saw it on the email and I called him right away, and I purchased it.
Yeah. But now is it so you subscribe to Glenn's mailings? Is that where you?
Yeah, I guess I've bought a few pieces from him over the years, and I guess when you buy something from me, you check out, you get on his email list. So now I get his emails whenever he sends them out, and I typically don't look at it either, but for some reason I saw this page and I had to have it. I mean, it's a full page splash, Spawn villain, you know, just and So Promises the Curse. So we picked it up.
Awesome. Now this next one, I know we have a few fans of this character in the chat, so let me go ahead and switch over to this one. But Jack of
Oh
Hearts.
yeah, that's I don't remember where I got this piece, but as a when I had my store and as a kid, I do remember this character, the Jack of Hearts. And like I said, I didn't read comics. I just thought his costume was and his name were so cool. The Jack of Hearts, and he looked like a character off a playing card. And this page, I don't know how it came up, but you read the dialogue and you see he holds the Jack of Hearts. It says the Jack of Hearts there. I'm very happy with this piece. The Jack of Hearts. Great. Love the character.
So you've had this one a while.
Yes, I've had this one a while. Yep. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't read characters, but I think, and I'm pretty sure from what I've read on Google, Wikipedia, that this character is no longer in the universe. He died, right?
That I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure from what I read, but
It's too complicated these days, man. I mean, Earth this, I get that. It's to me it'd be a difficult time to become a comics reader with so many different ever since the Ultimates, right? When they modified the Avengers and stuff, I've kind of been lost. I bought them all and read them all. It just still it's a little too confusing when you think about the timelines and who's still alive and who isn't. Stingray says he died about 20 years ago but came back. He's dating the She-Hulk these days. Well, there you go. You just never know.
yeah, true.
You just need to pass away in order to date, the tallest woman in the MCU.
Right.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, but I always like the character, the Jack of Hearts, just the costume and everything.
Yeah, we whenever I have an artist on, it's not my go-to question, but to ask them, how often do you get asked to draw the, Jack of Hearts at a con or something? And a lot of them will just be like, that's the one character I won't draw
Oh,
because
really?
it's too much work. Although
Okay.
Pat Broderick did a kick-ass one, and for OAX, uh, gosh, and so did Aranga, fellow collector artist, did a really great piece. But yeah, it's one that because it takes too much time, right? How do you charge for that? If they normally charge 150 for a sketch, I mean they got to charge like 300 for Jack of Hearts.
Right.
All right, here we go. Swinging over to Black Costume Spidey, issue 252.
Yeah, that's my second most recent acquisition. Got that what I felt was a steal at the last Comic Link auction. Um, yeah, 252 comic. Like I said, I didn't read comics, but I know you've heard this story 1,000 times. I remember walking to the stationery store and buying 252 Spider-Man off the spinner rack, and obviously the black costume is, great storyline from the 80s. But yeah, black costume Spider-Man. I think this is a great page from the issue, and I'm really happy that I got it, and I'm particularly happy I got it for the price that I got it for, because I was willing to go significantly higher for it.
Are you able to say that a lot these days?
No, that was the surprise. That was the surprise of the auction for me, to pay what I paid for this page from 252. I was thrilled, which is funny, and I'll go back to another regret so I can tell this story. So 252 Spider-Man was probably the only comic book that I remember specifically walking to the store and buying it off the spinner rack. I had the cover to 252 Spider-Man. Okay. Own the cover.
Yeah.
Within 2 weeks of me buying it, I was approached by a very well-known collector, and he offered me twice what I paid for it. And this was several years ago. And I took the money because I was like, wow, I can make that much in 2 weeks. And I regret selling the cover. It's one of a couple really, really significant regrets that I have is parting with that 252 cover. I have about 4 pages from the book. I have the last page. I think the last page is in my CAF, where Spider-Man's swinging in the air in the city, and it in the black costume, and it says "Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man." But yeah, I love 252 pages.
Wow, I didn't know that you used to own the 252 cover. That's
Yep.
how.
Yep.
You're right. It's an homage by itself, but that cover is just so memorable, and it was reprinted in many different ways. I mean, my gosh. But I get it. There's that, when you think about it, when you're doubling your money within 2 weeks, I mean, why not, right? But it's
Yeah.
somebody who saw the, like, you talked earlier how people remarked, why would you spend that much money on a piece? But it doesn't sound so silly anymore. But that piece that you have, the final splash, the end page in your CAF gallery, it's phenomenal. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
That's a funny thing too. When I bought that, okay,
Mhm.
I bought that page, and Gallo bought the page one splash. We bought them at the same time. I want to say we paid $3,500. And when we were partners in our store, and when I moved to Virginia, we split the art up because we were partners. And I had the choice to pick which of the 252 pages
Mhm.
um, to get. And for me, I like this better than the page one splash, but the page one splash, everybody loves it, and they say it's worth multiple times of this. But for me, look at it. He's swinging in the city again. I love the image. It wasn't about which one was going to be worth more. It was about the image for me at that time.
Right. I mean, this is crazy, the fisheye lens effect, all the, it's with the city wrapping around him. I mean, I don't know. I understand what people were saying about the page one, but still, this is an amazing image.
Yeah, I don't have any regrets. I'm really happy with this splash.
Dang. Yeah, I would be too. No regrets.
Yep.
And the thing is, if he still owns it, you know where it is.
Yeah, but he wants a ton of money for it, so I'm going to keep my 252 last page and be happy.
Right, right. He's not going to take it. You're not going to be able to trade him.
No, no.
That's interesting though, because like you did mention earlier, you guys co-owned a few pieces. So that when it just came time, I mean, you guys did you kind of lay everything out and just kind of do
Yeah, yeah. We laid it out. We had a bunch of McFarlane covers, and we split the stuff up. And then when we split the McFarlanes, I believe I bought him out of his McFarlanes, and then he wound up keeping some pieces. We had 2 Ditko pages, I think. We had an X-Men #2 page. We had some pretty cool stuff back in the day. And he wound up keeping the 252. And it's funny because I would always ask him about it, and he would give me a price, and it was just too much, and then too much, and then too much. And now I was like, oh,
Berkey, you got to get him to do a deal with him. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to part with it. I mean, it's that 252 splash that he has is a great piece.
yeah, no, I understand, but that's again, there's not. We've talked with other collectors who've co-owned pieces and collections and whatnot. It's an interesting dynamic. I mean, but you guys, you had a friendship and a professional relationship, so it made it a little bit easier. I just think that I were to do it, I don't know who would be my the person I would go in with, because you have to like have a lot of trust. And I mean, I'm just out of curiosity, when you shared the collections, I mean, did he get to keep some of them sometimes, and then you would get to keep the portfolio one day?
No, I think we kept it. I think we kept it in the office. I don't know if I don't remember if we took anything home and he had his stuff and I had my stuff. We might have had everything at the office.
hmm so both of you could look at anything at any time that you wanted.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember. It was a long time ago, but yeah, those 252 pages were great because people, when we paid $3,500, people say, "Why would you pay $3,500 for a friend's Spider-Man? That's crazy." Yeah,
Right, I know. I mean, I'm sure I was thinking the same thing when I was seeing stuff like that. Not necessarily from you, but if Mike would be like, "Oh, I sold this for that," I'm like, "That's insane." But you know,
yeah.
yeah, it wasn't too crazy. Jason says that he would be my co-owner on some artwork if I wanted to have a partner. All right, thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. Oh man, let's see here. Where are we going to go to from here? And
Here he
Iron Man.
is.
Look at this, Cockrum, Jack of Hearts, Iron Man. This cover is freaking amazing.
Yeah, this is one of the pieces that I got in that Infinity Gauntlet collection I was telling you about earlier.
Are you
One of the pieces
serious?
that I had to have. Yeah,
That's insane.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
I
That
think I think I don't know how many. I don't know if how many. He might have only done one. How many Cockrum Iron Man covers there are? This might be the only one. I'm not sure. But this to me, the detail, the Jack of Hearts. Obviously, I like. I'm really loving this cover. This is going to be. I have a few Iron Man covers. This is going to be one of the last ones. If I ever part with it, will be one of the last ones I hold on to for sure.
no, it's gorgeous. I mean, right era, and damn, I mean, Cockrum drew some really awesome covers, very memorable ones from just a lot of books. But this is classic. I mean, it's a lot of times they don't show the main hero with his back to you, but it's okay in this one because the villains, the people he's fighting make all the difference here. Austin Inks makes the damn thing even better.
Yep.
And oh yeah, you get the original logo up there. I mean, everything about this thing is fantastic, and that's just crazy. So one collector had so much amazing artwork, but and you had to buy the whole thing out. That took a lot of balls to do. Number one, to get those couple pieces, but shoot, to have a couple cornerstone pieces like this and the Infinity Gauntlet one cover, I think you did. That was a smart move, Tom.
Yeah, I'm certainly happy I did it now. Yeah, at the time I was like, oh boy, but yeah, very happy with the pieces I wound up holding on to.
And Joe Manarino's is in the chat. Thanks for coming
Hey,
in,
Joe.
Joe. We'll have Joe on the show next week doing a heritage
Yeah, I was
preview.
going to ask you when are you doing? When is that show? Because I'm definitely want to tune into that. But the auction preview, correct?
Yeah, the next one it'll be next Tuesday.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I don't know if Nadia will tune in with that one, but Joe and I always have a good time. And yes, Dave Cockrum, as everybody knows, Cockrum's one of my favorite artists. I mean, it wasn't just because of X-Men. Great costume designer, and yeah, a lot of. And you look at this. This is fantastic. And let's see, where are we going to? Oh, and again, this is something that I didn't know you owned. Covered but I know you're a Hulk fan. I mean, I remember you telling me that years ago. So you're going to tell me that you own like 20 Hulk covers or something along with this one?
I own a few Hulk covers. One of the reasons why I love this cover, and I know I mentioned before, I very rarely read comics, and I don't remember if I read this or not, but I know that I flipped through it, and I know at the end the Constrictor's whips or whatever you want to call them went into a light pole, and I think that's how he died, or not died, but that's how he got defeated. But this is also a first appearance of the Constrictor. But I picked this up from Berkey about a year ago. Very happy that I got this piece. I really like the image, and I love the. I just like the cover. I think it's a great cover.
Wow, I'm surprised. We know Berkey loves his Hulk covers, so that must have been
Yeah, we
cool.
did a trade. I got it in a trade. I think I actually parted with a really good Ditko Spider-Man page. As a matter of fact, I think the Ditko Spider-Man page, if I remember correctly, I got that poster art that you showed, the first piece. I got this and something else or some cash, and I traded the Ditko Spider-Man page, which was I had in my gallery for a long time that had a lot of comments. I called the Zap page. I think the bottom left panel, nice, really good panel of battle between Green Goblin rather and Spider-Man. So Mike wanted that for a while, and we were able to finally put a deal together.
Well, that's what it takes. I don't
Yep.
remember the piece in your calf though. I know you don't have it in there anymore, but that's it's all about what somebody desires. And I know he's always looking for Ditko Spidey. So
Yeah.
all right, but no, this very cool. I bought this one off the spinner rack myself.
Oh,
So
you remember this issue?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I love the cover. I mean, and then when it's the colors were, I just really enjoyed this comic book. I remember vividly the cover and flipping through the pages and watching the battle between the Hulk and the Constrictor.
Yeah, that is a good one. Now, let's see. That was slide. Okay. Somebody mentioned Cap. Now, Cap's not one of your favorite characters, but we have this anniversary issue Cap cover.
Well, yeah. So we talk about covers, and when you see, Captain America 50th anniversary, New York scene in the background, Ron Lim, Jim Lee. If you're a Cap fan, how could you not love this cover?
No, I mean, come on. No, it's. I mean, Lim's fantastic, but you get Jim Lee inks as well, and that there's just it's the perfect cover for Cap.
Right.
If our friend Alberto were in the chat right now, he'd be panting looking at this because he's the number one Cap fan out there. But yeah, this is it's unbelievable. It really is nice. And again, something like this, is this a recent pickup for you?
No, I've had it for a while. I don't remember where I got it, but I've had it for a while.
But not in your calf, right? If I'm
Nope,
not
nope, that's not in the calf. I think only so far one or two of the pieces that we showed today are in the calf. Maybe only one, the Spider-Man and his amazing friends. I'm not sure.
Mhm. Well, no, this is cool. I'm glad again, I appreciate you bringing pieces that nobody has seen or known that were in your collection. That's a great one right there.
Thanks.
Now let's see, what do we got next here? Um, we know you're a fan of his work. It's
Yes.
Marvel though.
So I'll tell you about this piece. Hush, never read it. Don't know too much about it. I know it's real popular. And there was a collector that had the first, I think it's 609, Batman 609, where he's flying through the air and you see his boot coming at you.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that's a
So
classic.
I
Yeah.
wanted that cover in the worst way. And the only way to get it is I had to buy this also. So that's why I have this. And I'm very happy I have this because later on I come to find out that I think this was used on a graphic novel or a trade paperback. So it's a cover. Obviously, this is the Huntress, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
woman character, popular, full page, splash, was done on the cover. I think when I do decide to sell this, I think it'll command some nice bucks.
it's gorgeous. I mean, you can see why they would repurpose it for, a cover for a trade or something like that. I mean, this was such a cool run. Even I read Hush and I was, but Jim Lee has that way, right? I mean, you end up going back and you have to kind of check out what he's working on. But this was special. I mean, all the artwork from this from that storyline was pretty incredible. And I remember when Moy was selling it, it didn't stay on his site for long, right? And a lot.
Even the new covers that I just come to find out they're redoing Hush. I mean, a Hush 2, is that out now or coming out? I think the people in the chat will know. Is it out already or is it due to come out?
Well,
Hush
it's
2.
I think the art, some of the art is coming out. Uh, let's see what is Atari says. Seems like original Hush is more affordable than the Hush 2. I don't know about that. I guess I haven't seen what the pricing is on anything new. It comes out tomorrow, says Marcus.
Okay.
So, but I'm sure Moy has had his an early preview.
Yeah, I think he sold a couple pieces already from it. It's crazy pricing, but he gets it. I mean, Hush is, besides X-Men, you got to say Hush is number 2 for Jim Lee, right?
Yeah. Dave Kopecki says Hush 2 cover A was $250,000.
Yeah. I think he sold it also, right, Dave?
Mhm.
I think it was. I saw it on the. Yeah, he already sold 2. They were fantastic. Yeah, great, crazy. 250,000 for a cover that just came out. Nuts.
That is, I mean, but that's Jim Lee's market, I
Yep.
mean, it is surprising, even stuff that he drops that's good, maybe not like going to be something super memorable at 35,000 still goes. If it's got a
Yeah.
good Superman image on it, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's Jim Lee. I mean, that's why his that whole commission kerfuffle, the complaining that was going on, 8-10 months ago about $15,000 commissions. I mean, that's what Jim Lee's stuff goes for. People, it's no surprise to us as collectors, but yeah, like you just said, a $250,000 cover, brand new. That kind of stuff just does not happen too often.
Yeah. Yeah. It's phenomenal. And then I think I saw a couple weeks ago, and I know Albert had it at OAX, a full page splash of Magneto. I think
Oh,
sold for close to $200,000.
yeah, that was well, when stuff is kind of coming out first time from from the vault of an artist or something. I mean, you're always kind of it's always something cool to see, right? Uh, Atari wonders what the X-Men #1 covers. So yeah, you
Yeah.
never know. But yeah, Jason says you could buy his JLA pages, but it's all down to story and character and all that. I mean, we
Right.
get it.
Yep.
Um, yeah, sorry. Yeah, JLA is no Hush, Marcus reminds us. Thank you. But yeah, that uncanny X-Men 269 splash with Magneto went for 275.
Yeah.
That might be cheap. This-
Listen, it's a gorgeous piece. Gorgeous piece.
oh hell yeah. No, I mean I'm looking. I was again. Nothing surprises me anymore. So many people felt when we had the comics were rebounding and the card market was rebounding after the pandemic prices and stuff. People were thinking the comic art market was going to see a hit. I mean, I haven't seen it. I know you probably haven't seen it, and it's I mean, but it's good to see. It just shows us how excited people are and how much they believe in the art as having intrinsic value beyond the books and the cards and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Now we got two more things to look at.
Two what?
We have two more things to look at.
Well, two
Uh,
things.
two things to look
I
at.
got you. Okay.
Sorry, I'm not good at segues and one-liners, but
Okay.
let's take a look. We got two more artworks to take a look at here. So uh, again, we've seen a lot of different stuff from you. Primarily characters in costume, and we've seen a few different ones. But the horror side of comics, here's Man-Thing. I mean, is this a new purchase? Something you've had for a
No,
while?
this one I've had for a while. I believe I picked this up at Dan and Joe's comic art show that one of the first ones that they did. But this is a first appearance. of page from the first appearance of Man-Thing. I think it was Savage Tales magazine, and this is like on a real like the paper that it's on. It's like on a thick cardboard type thing, but really loved this piece. Love that he's looking into to the lake there or the pond there. Man-Thing first appearance. Yeah, I was very happy to pick this up at that show.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. It's beautiful. Now, something like this in the vault or something you keep around, how do you
Yeah,
kind
this is in the vault too. This is
yeah.
in the vault too. Yeah, this is just an interesting piece, right? I don't think I've ever seen another page from Savage Tales 1 with the Man-Thing on it. I don't think I remember seeing anything, but yeah, to have a page from the first Man-Thing. I mean, really, when I was young, who collected the Man-Thing as a kid, but as I got older, really cool character, and a great guest in some of the Marvel titles that were in the 70s and 80s. Great guest character. I remember there was a Hulk Man-Thing cover that I was always looking for. I think Berkey, I don't know if he has it. I think Wrightson might have done it. A Hulk Man-Thing cover. I'm not sure if I'm 100% accurate on that, but yeah, Man-Thing, great character.
No, I agree. Hey, and I think he was in a Marvel team up or two.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
You're talking about those are the ones, the few that you read usually had Spidey and a character that didn't quite fit, but always made for a good story.
He might have been in a couple Marvel 2-in-1s also. The Thing and the Man-Thing. I think I remember a couple issues like that.
Yeah, no, that's true. And Gray Morrow, thank you, Tony. I was going to say it's Gray Morrow was penciled and inked this one, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. So last but not least,
The last thing. There it is.
Now this is such a historic piece for anybody who's a fan. And again, it's end page too, which just makes it something special. And oh my gosh, I mean, I can't even imagine owning something like this because this is a piece of history.
Yeah, I love almost every panel in this one, especially the second one where she's looking at him. I think it's almost like the cover scene, and then the bottom right panel where he's walking away. You could just tell he's so sad. If tears could come, they would. I mean, I just love that. Everything about that page. I love.
Yeah, and again, it's just everybody's in awe. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's such an incredible historic page. I'm sorry, I'm kind of just gawking at it myself, and I got to look at the image earlier, but I just can't imagine, being able to have something like this in my possession. It's just amazing, and it's the cover image, like you said, and by probably one of the most revered narrative artists of the last 50 years, right? I mean, uh, his work is just completely always going to be sought after. This is the era when I think most people gravitate to, and it's just I'm kind of speechless looking at it as well. It's so amazing.
Yeah, picked this up from a Comic Connect auction, and a couple years back. Very happy to have this, and Comic Connect Fischler owns the cover to this, and I can't tell you how many. Every so often, I reach out to him, and I don't know what it would take to get that cover, but phenomenal. I'm very happy to have the pages that I have. I actually have 2 pages from this book, but the cover is just unbelievable.
Right. Yeah. I think Fischler's more or less a black hole.
Yeah.
To most pieces in his collection. But still, I mean, you got this one, and
very happy with this one.
Man, and I didn't realize it went through Comic Connect. I don't know why.
Yep.
I'll have to go back and look at their sales history, but either way, I mean, this is incredible.
Yeah. I not only is the art great, but when I see a great page that has really good dialogue and the verbiage, I mean, if you read this page, it's just forget about the art, just reading it. It's just, I love the last 2 word balloons. I mean, just love it. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could talk about the design of the page, the layout over and over. I mean, even just that the last panel where he's wedged him in there like that is just haunting.
Yep.
I mean, oh, yeah, wow. This is only second to the cover. Yes, Instantly Film says, yeah. I mean, from the whole book, yeah. This you have the cover, and then you have this piece.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, really glad to have this in my collection because I don't think I'll ever get that cover, but to have this, it's great.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing, Tom. Man, we need to bring you back on here, and you need to show us another 20 pages that aren't in your CAF gallery sometime.
Yeah, we
We'll
could
make
do this again next year, and
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's make this an annual thing.
we could do it again next year. I enjoyed it, Bill, and I appreciate. I know it's been a long time coming, and we
Yeah,
could definitely.
just people have said, "Why don't you ask Tom Fish?" And I've been like, I asked Tom like once a year. I think every time you renewed your premium membership, I would ask you, you know,
Yeah.
is it time yet? And it never quite worked out.
Well,
But no, yeah,
two things, Bill. Ask me again next year. I'll try to find another 20 pieces. But before we logged on, you told me that you had some first appearance page that
oh,
you
that's
might make
right.
available
Thank you for
tonight.
the reminder. This
Yeah.
I teased this on the CAF update last week that I had one first appearance page that I was going to be taking offers on, and it turns out I actually have two pages from the same issue. So thank you for reminding me of that. And I'll show them now. That they're going to be in my CAF gallery. I'll probably post them later this evening. I will post them later this evening with like all the information. But Brian Hitch. I mean, people knew that Brian found this old. I don't know. He found a drawer of like 300 pages, and he sent me a suitcase full of art, and some of it was Stormwatch art. And he lamented the fact that there was no Apollo or Midnighter in it. And while I was going through the stacks of art, I found a page that had Apollo on it. It was the first page to issue 4, and I knew Stormwatch a little bit, but I didn't realize that was the first appearance of both Midnighter and Apollo. So what we have, and I can show it, is the let's see here. Where is it? Right here. So we have the first page to issue 4. Apollo's in the second two final panels. He's not wearing anything. In fact, no costume on in that last panel. But this is the definite first appearance of Apollo. And so I found that one, and I mentioned to everybody that I was going to be showing one page. But as it turns out, there is a second page from issue 4 that I didn't notice at first, and so I can show that one now. So this is page 17 from that, and you get both Midnighter and Apollo in costume on both of these pages. So or on this page only, but 2 panels, so they're a little smaller on it. But hey, first issue appearance for both of those characters. Everybody who I know who's a fan of the Authority and Stormwatch want Apollo and Midnighter pages, and so this is from the first issue. I will be posting these to my CAF gallery later tonight with the instructions on how we're gonna handle taking offers on them, because I think that I know there's a lot of fans of those 2 characters, and hey, we've been talking about first appearances all night. I figured this was the right time to kind of release it and see what everybody thinks about those. So thank you, Tom.
No problem. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not a fan of Stormwatch, but those are great pages.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's yeah, same here. I love the Authority, and I thought, oh, I could buy one of these, and I'm like, nah, I know I can't. Let's just stop that. Jason always says that, but either way, listen, Tom, I think I will ask you in a year. I think
Sure.
we know you have the other art. In a year's time, who knows what you'll have picked up. Even just over the course of the next 12 months, and but I do have to tell you, I appreciate the fact that you've been at OAX the last 2 years. I mean, it's been great to see collectors support the show like they have. I mean, it's a little bit out of your way to come down, but again, it's awesome to know that we've got so many people supporting what we're doing down there, and you've been in this long enough to know a good show and a good
No,
opportunity. And
I'm looking forward to it next year already. I've enjoyed the first 2 shows, and I'll definitely be there next year. And I know you're making some changes. I've read up on what you guys are doing. It's going to be interesting to see the new things you're trying to bring to the show. It's going to be great.
yeah, Yeah, we're definitely, yeah. Well, we've got some announcements just, I think a little over a month from now. We're going to be talking about, some of the guests and some of the changes for the show that, we're really very excited about. But again, awesome to have you there. And even Dan, having Dan down at
Oh
the
yeah,
last show, he
for
he
sure.
was there with you. Yeah. So again, Tom, I can't thank you enough for doing
Hey,
this.
no, thank you. I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad. Thanks to everyone who tuned in, Bill. And I will definitely do this again. I thought it was a lot of fun, and definitely hit me up next year. Maybe we'll bring out another 18 or 19 pieces to show that from my collection.
I appreciate that.
All right.
All right. Well, listen, everybody, we both appreciate you hanging out with us this evening. I'll be back at it tomorrow night. But again, this was a great show. And again, a lot of times, Tom, I have to tell you this too, is that we typically review stuff that's already in your calf. So I appreciate the fact that this is stuff that you didn't have to show, but it's literally like an art drop from a collector's collection. So
Yep. I thought that would be fun. But
yeah,
Bill, thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. We'll do it again for sure.
you got it. All
Take
right,
care.
everybody, have a
Bye
good night.
bye.